of the week is, who is the craziest person in your family?
Oh Lord, is that okay? Are we defining clinically crazy, black sheep of the family crazy?
Yeah.
However you want to define it.
Fair enough. I'll start us off a little bit. Obviously, I have the black sheep of the family crazy. I am the nut job that all the cousins like, holy cow, how do you do that? And you know, I'm the entertaining level of crazy. Now I've got some other stories, but I was giving Kurt and buying some time for his face to figure out how much I really want to talk about my family right now.
Yeah. It's a toss-up for me. One is probably my sister, who I do not communicate with. I mean, like we
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, it's a problem, but she's a nut job. And not clinical.
Yeah, you're talking about thinking wise or clinically, like medically speaking.
Not medically speaking.
Yeah, my sister's not medically speaking either, but it's like, woof, you nuts.
She is. If you think you have a narcissistic friend,
this is why we get along so well, Kurt.
Yeah, my sister would probably fight them for the title.
Oh no, my sister would pray over them that they would see the error of their ways, because she has more damage, and God loves her and hates her most, whatever you want to fill in the blanks there.
Yeah. Otherwise, though, my father-in-law is kind of a nut job. This man has been.
Still blows me away. I'm not trying to call you old, but it blows me away that you still have in-laws that are walking the earth, man.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so my father-in-law has been an 18-wheeler over-the-road truck driver, a clinical hypnotist, a professional clown.
Like in a rodeo or a kid's hospital?
No, like
hiding in the sewer,
entertain at parties type thing. and until just recently, because I think they just moved, he was in a clown club in the Villages down in Florida.
Okay, yeah, that sounds a little Papa NASCAR meets Florida man.
Yeah, very much. Florida was the perfect place for him.
What about you, Joe?
It's gotta be my uncle, my dad's oldest brother. He was very crazy. So towards the end of his life, he asked his father for his inheritance while my grandpa was still alive, because he didn't want to wait for him to die. And so my grandfather was like, oh, okay. And so two of the four siblings got their inheritance early. My dad and my older brother, and his younger brother actually didn't. The one that's still alive, they got it after my grandfather passed away. But the oldest one, he squandered it all on drugs and prostitutes. And I
did not see that coming, to be honest.
And he was a meth head, and we didn't even know he died until the police called
I'm sorry. Is meth head what Mormons call Methodists? Because I mean, that's not drugs, dude. That's just a different branch of religion.
No, he showed up at our house one time with his then girlfriend, and after they left, my mom, she had kept track of everywhere either of them had touched, and she went around with a Clorox wipe and wiped all of it down. And
that's not how you get meth cooties, but okay.
No, but we don't know what other. He had all kinds of diseases and
burn it down, man,
whatnot. And yeah, no, he was a character. He had his pet iguanas that he loved to shove in people's faces out of nowhere.
Hold on. You cannot call out pets. You are not allowed to call out pets.
It wasn't the pet. Like, he would just walk up and like shove them in people's faces, his pet iguanas, or drop them on people's shoulders, and
that'll get you stabbed real fast.
Yeah, so it wasn't the pets themselves. It was my uncle's treatment of the pets and what he would do with them.
Can you imagine just walking out with a wild bobcat? Here, all over your face. Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't even know that he had died until the police called my uncle and said, "What do you want us to do with the body?" And he's like, I don't know. What do you normally do with bodies that aren't claimed? They're like, "Well, we have them cremated." He's like, "Go for it."
It's gonna burn for days because crystal meth is pretty flammable.
So, after my grandfather died, he went and he told us that he went and peed all over the grave and stuff like that. Like, that's just the type of person he was. He was just crazy and mad at the world and very self-destructive.
Well, I can imagine.
Way to bring it down, Joe.
Yeah. I feel like this question is really just Joe's /therapy session here. So I actually have, it turns out, on the Johnson side of my family, which is my mother and her sister and two brothers, that bipolar and or schizophrenia tend to run in that family. Now, they're of the generation that they were born in the late 50s, early 60s, so nobody got diagnosed with anything.
You just got to go to church and cast the demons out of them.
That's exactly God. I mean, they were very religious, all of them. All of them. To the point that my cousin actually went so deep. I mean, I really think she has some serious issues, but she went so deep into the church to try to heal herself that she broke, and she ended up going to some kind of mental hospital for a year or two, and when she came out, she was not the same.
That's no good.
We just don't interact all that much, and you know, between trauma of the four of them, because it is a thing where the story is, you know, it'd be my grandfather, so my mother's father, Daddy, right? Daddy Johnson, we'll call him, because I honestly don't remember what his first name was at all. The only thing my mom remembers about him is like every Sunday her mom would drag him all to church, but he would sit at the table reading his newspaper, smoking cigarettes. And then one day he was just gone. He just left. And, you know, of course that is trauma. And then Grandma Johnson stayed single the rest of her life and had to work all these jobs to raise the kids. And the oldest brother had to step up at 18 to help run the family. I mean, it is that unfortunately age-old story that you hear about. So there's tons of trauma. Plus, with my uncle, who was the youngest of the four, passing away about 2 or 3 years ago, that his kids had really started trying to get him help because it was very clear that he had schizophrenia and bipolar. And it's not necessarily the same as bipolar schizophrenia. It's they don't hit at the same time for him. I'm not that deep into the medicine, but so we were seeing the signs in all the other siblings, and only two are left, my mom and her sister. And it does seem like her sister is older. Her only crazy is religious crazy. Cause I can see some of the bipolar in my mom. So not so much the schizophrenia, but it's whoo-wee. When it's clinical, man, it can be a trip. But when it's brought on by drugs, fortunately, I've not had to deal with that one. Although I kind of would like to see what my sister would do on meth, right? Kurt went to his sister right away.
No.
Random kid. He left and then never drank milk again. But then random kid says, if everyone is crazy in my family, does that make me the normal person or the craziest?
I think you're crazy.
Yeah, dude, you know, y'all met my brother-in-law, you know, he's got issue, and that seems to, his uncle is living in the other house down the street now, and there's crazy on that side of the family too. I'm like, holy crap, it's amazing that turned out the way I did. That's why I'm a god amongst men, because I should have been that meth head, nut job, religious freak, you name it. Because of both sides of the families, But me and my wife turned out okay.
Joke's on you. They don't really do a whole lot of insane asylums these days. So they just have an insane cul-de-sac.
Insane cul-de-sac. What the heck? Oh my God. Now, Kurt, limiting it to you, your wife,
my
your
wife,
kids and grandkids.
Yep.
Who's the crazy one in that group? And if there's not one, there's not one.
I'm not sure there really is one. I mean, look, little kids like my grandkids, well, especially my granddaughter, little kids are just nutso.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a dinosaur. You know?
I don't think I ever told you that story.
When you were a dinosaur?
Yeah, exactly. No, when you talk about little kids being nutso and saying crazy things. When Ryland was young enough, he was a toddler. He could walk and climb on things, but obviously he's still in diapers. And all our kids just ran around in diaper around the house most of the time. They just like being mostly naked, whatever. We had this little coffee table, and my wife sent me a text because she didn't think it was going to be worth recording, but it would have been. But apparently at 2, he climbs up on the table, rips his diaper off, so he's naked. He goes, like, I'm here to rock the world or some craziness. And then he dives off of the little table. I mean, he's 2 feet off and lands and rolls on the carpet. My wife's like, oh my God, this is your son. Like, yeah, that's not crazy. That's just, he's got to be raised by minotaurs. We'll get him there. Don't worry about it. So,
it's a little crazy. But it's kid crazy. Kid crazy almost doesn't count.
I mean, especially when they're my kids, right?
Sure.
That's the thing. I really do think that people call it generational curses. I think that's dumb. I hate that. This generational crap is crap to me. But the things that you do building yourself, both good and bad, I think parts of those do pass on as traits. And it's just a personality thing. And all of my kids have definitely shown, like, I would have to think about it right now. But I have gone, okay, you got this bad part of me, you got that bad part, you got that bad. I can see parts of myself in them, but also the good things. So, you're raised by the rock out of podcasting. At 2, it makes 100% sense to rip your diaper off, go, woo, and jump into the imaginary mosh pit. It's right there. So,
sure.
You got any more to this show?
We'll save the other ones for another time because they're still alive, and I don't know if they'll watch this and get offended. What did Random Kid say? You popped it up there for a second.
Generational stereotypes exist for a reason. Most people aren't 100% stereotypical.